The howls that echoed from the pit tore at his soul. Ivan could not pass by. The poachers had a lot of nerve. They set traps and dug holes everywhere. They realized that it was hard for one forester to keep track of everything. The area is big, and there were supposed to be 2 more people on the team, but nobody wanted to go to such a remote place, and the wolf howled all the time. It was a snowy winter, and the forester could not go to inspect the area except by snowmobile. The frost crackled, the snow creaked under the skids, and it seemed that everything around stood still. A blizzard had covered the old trails. There were only signs and omens, clear only to him, which told where to turn and what to avoid. Ivan had grown up in these places. He thought he would not stay long. After the army, he came back for a while, but his mother got sick and he could not leave her alone. The bride who was waiting for him after the army went to the city for a better life. They were supposed to do it together, but it was not in the plans of the flighty girl to take care of a sick woman. So it wasn't fate, Ivan decided then. The mother was sick for a long time. All this time, her son nursed her and would not leave her. The insidious illness gave no chance, and soon, Ivan was left alone. His father abandoned them when he was not even a year old. He saw no point in going to the big city. Time had passed. Who needed him there now? And over time, he got used to the harsh nature and loneliness. And then a position of a forester came up. So he stayed in his native village. He was still young enough, not even 40, but he had no hope of meeting his destiny. All the locals were married, guests were rare visitors, and the forester didn't think much of it. Memories were distracted by the cold and prickly wind. It snaked under a warm jacket and forced to hurry. Ivan cautiously got out on the path and peered into the hole. So it is. A wolf was lying in the depths. His howl was heard by the forester. Poachers often used the old method of catching predators. A hole covered with lapworm is difficult to see, so the beast falls into it carelessly. Ivan did not understand it. For the sake of the leather, they kill an innocent animal. Technology is so modern nowadays, there is no point of using leather. Modern jackets are much better than jackets made with leather and fur. They're lightweight, airtight, and warm, many times better. But the primal greed in people gives no rest. They hang skins of wild animals on the wall and then brag about how good of hunters they are. But in an open fight, the wild beast would have defeated the careless brats. But who'd give him a chance like that? They were sneaky, the bastards. The wolf did not look young and had been in the pit for a long time. Snow interfered with the plans of the hunters. They had not checked the traps for a long time. The animal looked sick and tired. It just lifted its head and did not move even at the sight of the man. He had to get the wolf out. Cautiously going down, Ivan still kept his shotgun ready with sleeping pills. Who knows how the beast would behave, but the predator was too weak to resist. Apparently the howling that Ivan heard took the last strength of the animal. It could not even stand on its feet. The forester realized that from hunger the wolf was very weak. Gently pulling the wolf out of the hole, he sighed. If I leave him here in the snow, he will freeze to death. He would not survive on his own, and he was not young at all. Fur on the back of his neck had turned gray already. The forester knew the animals well over the years of his work. He had more than once rescued them. Once a roe deer, once a moose. He cured them and let them go back to the forest. People got used to the fact that some animal always lived with him. He had to take a wolf home, too. The wolf came out of his condition heavily. Extreme exhaustion and sub-zero temperatures did not affect his body in the best way. Judging by its appearance, earlier this was a big wolf, maybe even the leader of a pack. With age, younger wolves took its place, and the older wolf chose his own path. It happens so often in packs. Wolves don't abandon other wolves. Older wolves have a special place with them. They are cared for and looked after, but sometimes, if they are still strong, predators leave the pack, not wanting to burden their tribesmen, especially if his female wolf has died. Wolves in general are monogamous. Apparently, this is what happened to this wolf. Perhaps he lived well in his solitude. There was enough energy for feeding and a peaceful existence, but for the treacherous trap on his way. Caught in it, the wolf could not get out. The cramped space did not give the opportunity to get out, and he could freeze to death. Hunger completed what the cold had not done. The wolf was rapidly losing strength. Ivan had to put the predator inside the house. Gathering what he could, the man covered the animal, trying to warm it up. He even changed bottles with warm water, putting it around the cold body. He poured warm milk drop by drop to give at least a little boost to the fading life. The beast's sides were heaving high, breathing heavily, hoarsely. Ivan had to give him antibiotics. Deciding that the dog is not far in the evolution of the wolf, the forester brought ampoules from the vet. First injections made, then poured with a syringe through clenched teeth, and always leaving a bowl of milk and meat in case he woke up and ate. It was a long time before that happened. On his way home from his patrol, Ivan was noisily kicking the snow off his shoes, stomping his feet, when suddenly he noticed movement. The wolf stood on the doorstep with still unsure paws and looked at the forester carefully, sucked in the air with his nostrils as if he smelled a native scent, calmly turned around and went to his laying place. The two lonely souls accepted each other slowly but surely. The wolf was recovering, his gait growing more confident as each day passed. His appetite improved. Now he ate on his own, greedily grabbing bites, and drank a lot. When the forester returned, the wolf met him on the threshold of the room. He did not wag his tail and did not bark like a dog, but just silently watched, as if he wanted to make sure that the man is all right, and went to his place. There was parity between them. Each respected the territory of the other without claiming anything else. The predator seemed to understand that he was sheltered and appreciated it. One evening, the owner came home upset. The day had not gone well. He had failed to save the lynx that had been trapped. By the time he found it, it was too late. Powerlessness against poachers, as usual, caused anger and resentment. He could not understand in any way. Humans kill those who do them no harm. Lynx live so far away and are so secretive that they try not to show their presence in any way. And people, in order to assert themselves, must necessarily show off in front of the others at the cost of someone else's life. The saddened Ivan did not notice the wolf watching him closely for a long time, and then the animal got up and slowly approached the man. The forester felt the stare and looked up, stared at the wolf for a second or two, and then held out his hand. The predator, born to hunt and survive, did not hesitate long, and rested his heavy forehead on the upright palm. He accepted the human friendship. They had indeed become good pals. Waking up at night, Ivan knew his guard was awake. He had replaced his place on the carpet by his bed. Perhaps he wanted to thank him for the rescue, or maybe he just considered the ranger worthy of such an honor, to be guarded by a wolf. When spring came, the wolf recovered and recovered completely. The shiny fur on his sides and his firm stride convinced him that he was completely healthy. The wolf was always there, met him in the evening after work, and then began to go to the woods with him. The forester was ready for the new friend to leave him. After all, the animal grew up and lived his life in the woods, but the wolf did not intend to go anywhere, calmly walked beside him like a well-trained dog. He did not show any aggression at the sight of small animals, which the man had to rescue from time to time. He did not consider pet animals as prey either. He was evidently sure that the man would not leave him hungry. They really became friends. Those who did not know took him for a dog, though quite strange. Did not make a sound, the tail did not wag, and at night his eyes lit up bright yellow light. He helped on his patrols, sometimes in the middle of the forest, suddenly stopped and silently looked at Ivan, and as soon as he realized that the man took him into account, he turned his muzzle in a certain direction, as if he listened. Then Ivan would freeze and listen too. Usually this meant that the wolf smelled people. There were no tourists in the deep woods, and it meant one thing: poachers. Either the wolf had remembered something from the day when he appeared in the pit, or he intuitively felt unpleasant people. This worked without fail, and managed to get close unnoticed and caught unawares. The first appearance of a forester with a wolf always caused a stupefaction of the criminals. It was enough to take them to the police. More than once, they ratted out such careless hunters to the police. Locals who knew about it jokingly called the wolf a spirit of the forest and claimed that he came to avenge the animals killed in the traps, and Yvonne was lucky to be there at the right time. And so they lived. Man and wolf ate together and did their service together. Spring had passed. Summer had changed to fall. The forest was becoming like a fairy tale. The colors mixed in the most bizarre ways. Among the fiery red maples were green pines, golden oaks, and birches. On another patrol, Yvonne suddenly realized that his partner had disappeared somewhere. The wolf, which always walked nearby, had disappeared. The forester was even upset. He decided that the animal had chosen freedom after all. The man got used to it and became attached to his wild friend. Now he was sad that it was all over. So Yvonne was walking on alone through the forest, thinking, when suddenly he heard a howl. Something told him that it was his wolf. The forester was shocked and nervous at the same time. What could have happened? Hurrying to the voice of the wolf, he was perplexed. The wolf howled incessantly. Finally, he saw him. The wolf just sat there and turned his head in his direction, howling. When he saw Yvonne, the wolf got up impatiently and moved toward him, but did not move far from the place he was sitting. Yvonne barely noticed the hole, hidden by branches and brushwood. Poachers again, he thought, and looked inside. Down there was a woman with frightened eyes looking at the wolf. She was very happy to see a human. Then it turned out that Maria came to visit her sister. Her husband had died a long time ago. Her sister invited her. She liked it in the quiet and peaceful town near the forest. They walked to the place a couple of times, but she remembered the road poorly. That day, while her sister was at work, Maria decided to go mushrooming. She did not know the place well. She immediately lost her way, and then she fell into this hole, which she did not see. When she fell, she severely injured her leg. She could only get up with difficulty, but she could not get out. And then a wolf appeared, and the woman decided that she would die here and no one would find her. Then they had a hard time. After she got out of the trap with Yvonne's help, the woman categorically refused to stay alone and wait for him to come in a vehicle. They had to construct a kind of crutch and walk home very slowly. Good thing nothing terrible happened to her leg. The doctor determined a severe sprain, prescribed compresses, rest, and no physical exertion. Yvonne had a good compress, so everything was fine. But then they often laughed while reminiscing about the old story over tea in the woodsman's cottage. They never split up again, jokingly telling everyone that it was the wolf who had saved her and introduced her to Yvonne. The wolf opened his yellow eyes at the sound of his name and looked intently at his family, making sure that everything was all right, stretched out by the fireplace and warmed his old weary paws. Let them think it was all by coincidence, but he knows that before he called the man in, the wolf had watched the captive in the pit closely. Having appraised her as a worthy candidate, the wolf called his forester. He might not have called him, by the way. He was not loyal to all humans. The memory of those who had brought him to the edge of death had not gone away, but he felt that this woman was different, and he was not mistaken. His instincts as a wild beast had never failed him before. He felt good among his own kind. He considered these two as his pack. And for his own wolves, as you know, they would tear anyone to pieces. But they were doing well, so he could take a nap. Want more stories? Welcome to the channel. Here you will be immersed in an atmosphere of coziness and unpredictability. Each story is unique, intriguing, and very heartwarming. We look forward to seeing you on the channel.